Hello.
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 Hi there.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Football Times podcast with myself, RadioTimes.com sport editor Michael Potts, and I'm joined in the studio yet again by Mr. Jake Wilson of BBC Match of the Day magazine.
What is happening? I'm back. I'm back. You can't get rid of me.
Living in this room for the last 3 weeks.
I have.
Interesting.
It's a nice safe space.
Self-isolation.
I've got loads of hand sanitizer. It's good. I'm sweet.
Oh, man. Here we go. Get this over with. Moving on. So we'll be previewing all of the Premier League games on TV this weekend, obviously before they're all cancelled. Let's hope they're all going ahead.
Yeah,
let's hope they're going to have crowds in them all. Did you see the Champions League? You see the Champions League last night? Valencia, Atlanta.
It's very quiet. It was these grounds.
It's one of the most baffling things I've seen.
It was the same with Juventus, like Aaron Ramsey scoring and celebrating in front of
nobody. Yeah, it's interesting. We're watching them all elbow fiving like weirdos. Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed that. Yeah, we'll dive straight into them. We've got a bit of a big weekend of Premier League football coming up, starting on Saturday on BT Sport 1, 12:30 kickoff. It's Watford versus Leicester. The completely unnecessarily titled Brendan Rodgers derby.
Oh, there's a derby in every game nowadays, isn't there?
I went so far to hating the the blah, 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 derby. Do I actually love it now?
Oh,
but yeah, so bad.
Beautiful.
We'll start with Leicester actually.
Oh.
Shackles off against Villa. Vardy back in the stride, 4-0 win. That looked like the Leicester we've been used to this season.
Or is that the Aston Villa that we should all know and expect at this point? I was going
to come round to that bit, but yeah. Do you think that was more a case of Villa just being woeful, or have Leicester actually found their form again?
I think it's a bit of half and half. Obviously, Leicester kind of dominated and were full value for the win, but their last few goals came right at the death, where Tyrone Mings gave Leicester a penalty out of nowhere. A very strange decision to shoulder that ball when there wasn't.
It was a shoulder though, wasn't it? It wasn't.
But it's definitely handball. He threw himself towards the floor and it hit his arm. It was not a great indictment of the player's talent.
Yeah.
But Leicester did look good. Vardy, that's going to do him so much confidence. I think he's a confidence player, and I think that would have really helped. And
yeah, he goes in streaks, doesn't he? Like, as we've seen before, obviously he got was it the 11 game streak? I think it was the before. Record, yeah. Just sort of, you expect him once he gets 2, another 5 on far off.
Yeah, poor Ben Foster, eh?
yeah, he's up for a task this weekend. Harvey Barnes ticking along nicely. It's one of those where every time and I quite like this, every time an English player turns up in a game, has a big performance, suddenly it's like, oh, England.
Yeah.
And I actually quite like that. I think we maybe don't have the obvious world-class talents. I mean, world-class, big apostrophes there with Gerrard, Lampard, etc., who obviously didn't display it on that world stage too often, but in international competitions. But it's nice to see those very good talents, the likes of Barnes, Maddison, Grealish, etc. They're all in and around that squad.
And they're all exciting players. Like, you look at Harvey Barnes, and to watch him play, he's going to get, bums off seats, and that's what you want. You don't want to be watching England scrape to a 1-0 win over Slovakia. You want to see us win 4-2. So hopefully some of these players will come being around the side. And Barnes, he did it last year for West Brom. I feel like I rave about him quite a lot when I'm on here, but that boy is good.
Yeah.
Enjoy that, no?
No.
Paz, you want to sub in?
Bring him in. Barnes, I think it's maybe too soon to bring him into the Euro squad, especially considering Grealish and Maddison haven't quite cracked it. But like I say, can't be doing much more than he's doing at the moment.
He's on the way.
Keep putting pressure. Another talent coming through, James Justin.
Yes.
Just a quick note on James Justin, but he's impressing. Obviously, he started the other night against Villa. I read a few really nice things actually from Rodgers, really praising him very highly, saying he makes those off the ball runs, just bombs forward, constantly bombing forward. Obviously on that left side, gives Barnes that space to just drift in. Obviously he's got 2 goals from it. It's almost what he doesn't even have to have the ball, and he's making it, having a bit of an effect on that left side.
That's good Prem players now. You've got to be making those runs. If you're a fullback nowadays, you can't sit. And it's good to see him doing so well. He tore it up for Luton Luton fans loved him when he was there. I think they've missed him a bit this season, reflecting on their league position. So it's good to see him starting some games now.
Yeah, absolutely.
All season.
I've got another rant in me, which I'm not going to quite deploy now, but that fullbacks are the most important position in the Premier League.
Oof.
In the Premier League 11. Yeah?
Okay.
You feeling this? I'm going to go into this. They're just traditional wingers now. They're just classic mid-noughties wingers.
Yeah.
With another player in front of them. I love that. I love that so much. And like I said, when you've got people like Barnes who can cut inside,
well,
I'm on board with this. And they can drop into midfield, they can defend, they can push forward. A bit of everything with a fullback.
Maybe that's a chat for another day, but I still can't think you look past the fox in the box. R.E. Tottenham Hotspur.
Don't know where you're going with that one. So I'm going to move on to Watford. Watford kicking and screaming down there. They've got a few good games coming up though. Got Burnley, Southampton, Norwich, Newcastle, West Ham. So they've pretty much got to play everybody down there.
Yeah.
I still can't quite work them out. Obviously that incredible win against Liverpool.
That's the only one really. That's the only one they've won in the last 7. And you don't want to put the curse on them, but Norwich beat Man City and then didn't win for what? Quarter of a year.
Still going.
So it's a scary one. You can't take that as any big change. You've got to beat those teams around you. You've got to get points every game, not just one very good result.
And I think they do have match winners. We've talked about this so often, like Deeney, Delafeu, like Doucouré, even Sarr coming in.
Definitely.
They've got match winners. It just feels like a bit of a hodgepodge that they need to just line up for a fight every week almost and just scream their way to survival this time round.
Keeping them all playing as well. I think Delafeu's injured, so that's going to be a bit of a hit, but they do have that attacking talent. Just don't always get the goals that balances out with.
Absolutely. Prediction for this one?
I think Leicester are going to have it. I think it's going to be 2-0 to the Blues, unfortunately.
Gone 2-1. Leicester getting a bit of confidence back ahead of the end of the season run-in.
Agreed.
Moving on to Aston Villa versus Chelsea. It's also on Saturday. Sky Sports Premier League and main event with a 5:30 kickoff. Villa, I mean, they're gone, aren't they, really? I think...
it's hard.
It's one of these where they're probably going to win a couple of games and everything's going to change again. I just can't. I can't see a team who defends like that surviving. No.
I advocated them a little while ago. I think that they would do okay because they do have goals in them. Grealish, Samatta started scoring, but if you defend as poorly as you did against Leicester. You haven't got a hope.
Yeah, it's more the capitulation side of it, and we saw it against Leicester. Like you're in a game until you concede, and then the heads just completely drop. Like it shouldn't be the end of the world conceding a goal. You're going to concede a goal in more games than not. Any team, pretty much.
Definitely Vardy's second one. When they just kind of let him have the shot. It was ridiculous. Like the fight wasn't there that you might see at Watford or something that you got that feeling that they'll scrap out of it.
Yeah, I know a thing or two about gutless relegation battling, spineless bottling teams, and let that out, Michael. Let that out. But yeah, I just get that vibe from them. You see the heads drop, and as soon as the heads drop, it doesn't matter how talented you are, no matter how much money you've spent. I also people like Pepe Reina. Signings like that, I don't like them.
Well, it seemed like he'd done quite well. He seemed like he'd kind of inspired a bit when he came in, but that decision for the first goal was not the right one.
No, not at all.
I think that sets you on such a bad path, again, especially against such a good side like Leicester. And I think they can have a real turn of fortune. It's going to be needed if they are going to get something.
Absolutely. I just think this is the sort of thing where you've got to stick with your championship team. Or I know a lot of the players have come through, but there is a lot of new signings they've made. I've listed them down here, but Engel, 7 million, Target, 14 million, Konsa, 12 million, Gilbert, 8 million, Nakamba, 11 million, Douglas, he's 15. I mean, that's not even talking about Wesley, who was 22 million. He's been injured for so long.
That wage bill in the championship would be crippling.
They've picked up the QPR blueprint and thought, we'll have a slice of that.
It's a bit of a shame for Tom Heaton. I'd like to give him a shout out because he came in and did really well. So I think their season might be a slight bit different if he was still in there.
And I feel sorry for Grealish as well because I mean, this is probably it's one of those weird situations where he won't want to leave his boyhood club. He's been there however long. He won't want to leave, and yet
might want to leave.
Yeah,
at this
by
point.
the end of the season, he's pretty much going to have to leave.
He'll have his pick of Premier League teams as well. That boy is good.
Still backing him to go United. Love to see that. But anyway, moving on. Another day. Moving on to Chelsea. Just a quick word on a couple of players. Billy Gilmore.
Ooh.
Billy Gilmore bringing in the plaudits, little pocket rocket terrier midfielder. Looks so confident in the middle. Have you watched him play in any of these
seen
games?
Him a bit, and it's lovely to see a player like him break through, especially in that side, a Chelsea side that's so full of midfield talent, and he is running the show.
I feel like there's so many players with so much baggage and so much trying to be complicated, and he just plays football so simply. Just little pass, little move, little pass, little move, pass, run. Like he'll just, I don't know. He makes it look easy, in the middle there, and he's not the tallest at all by any stretch. Came across really well in his interview as well, just when he was chatting. Seems like a very down-to-earth chap. And yeah, I just think fair play. And Lampard, fair play for starting him. Fair play for actually looking beyond his birth certificate and actually thinking, you know what, let's give this lad a go.
Exactly. And it's nice to see him break out, but it's a long road to being a Premier League, mainstay. As
you will know, being the hardcore Premier League midfielder you are, Jake Wilson.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for my call-up, Nuno. Ready. I'm waiting for that number 10 role. Just shout me.
And Ross Barkley as well.
Yeah, but stepping up, and that might be some of Gilmore's influence. Brought a real performance out of him, whereas Barkley was not as great in the Champions League a couple of weeks ago.
I think partially the fact the Everton fans booed his every touch probably had something to do with Barkley looking fired up for that one.
He loves
but again, I know he's flawed and he's inconsistent, but my word, he turned up for that one.
Obviously got the talent. It's just week in, week out, showing you can influence games, and he isn't done that to this point. So hopefully it's a start, because England could probably do with.
Southgate likes him as well. Southgate wants him in that. An informed Ross Barkley is pretty much in that England squad, ahead of the likes of Grealish, Maddison, etc., etc.
Definitely.
Prediction for this one.
Chelsea to 0. Even though Villa have got goal scorers, Dean Smith's got a right job to turn that around.
I don't think I could ever go Chelsea to 0, but I will go Chelsea. Chelsea probably 7-3 or something.
Amazing.
And yeah, like I said, Dean Smith, big job on his hands, and reports saying he could go if he loses this one.
Which would be sad, because he's obviously a very good manager. He did a brilliant job at Brentford.
Absolutely. Moving on to Super Sunday. It's 2:00 kickoff on Sky Sports Premier League, and main event, it's West Ham versus some West Midlands team.
The West Midlands team, I'll have you know.
It's Wolverhampton Wanderers. Going along nicely?
Yep. Very nice, Wolves. 0-0 against Brighton was frustrating. Only one shot on target shows a bit of our problem. We do seem to have trouble breaking down teams now and then. Brighton are our bogey team, though. And Aaron Moy, as my father always says, is our bogey player, having been in the Huddersfield team that beat us twice in a league season, where I think they only won 3 games. So that was lovely.
As father prophesied, Moy will return.
Michael Wilson knows his stuff, I'll have you know.
Shout out to Big Mike.
But no complaints, Wolves. It's a wonderful season. Right up there in the Champions League spots. Some people saying, oh no, not beating Brighton, the Champions League dream is gone. It's very much not. Every team's there's going to drop points, and I think Champions League is probably a stretch for us, but we'd take back-to-back Europa Leagues. Qualification would be a dream, especially when we could still win the thing.
Well, that's the thing as well. A lot of people just bypass the Europa League and just think it's a springboard to the Champions League, or it's not quite there, it's a halfway house. But like, you could actually go and win that thing.
Definitely.
Like there are some good teams left in it, but nobody who you're like sort of cowering about. I don't know.
There's Inter we would not want.
You wouldn't want them, but they're not like it's not a dead cert.
No, but I think if you're a betting man, that would be the team you'd be looking at.
Yeah.
I think Man United, if we got them, I think we'd give them a right game. We beat them plenty of times over the last couple of years, and any other team in that draw, I think we'll have. Olympiacos knocked out.
We'll have them.
Arsenal, but we're not scared in the slightest.
Absolutely. Would you prioritise? Have you got? It's one of these bizarre questions where you never want to like lose any game or set up to lose a game. But like, would you be prioritising a competition? Knowing that Champions League qualification is in one hand, you've got Europa League in the other, would you be sharing the workload?
It's not a dilemma I'd like to have. Like, I think league position is the most important thing at the end of the day. That's what you work all year for. They're the 38 games that you grind through. But Nuno does not play, quote unquote, the reserves. He just doesn't do it. When we took a massive lead to Espanyol, and he played half the first team. He only left 1 or 2 out, and that's not a thing that he does. He doesn't rest players too often. He keeps that same starting 11 all the time, and I think that will only continue. We've played more games at this point in the season than we played in the entirety of last season. So those boys are going to be out on their feet. It's just why maybe Traore starting on the bench last week. Yeah,
so, big shout to the fitness coaches as well, getting them lined up and whipped into shape for all of that. West Ham coming up this weekend. West Ham in a bit of a mad position, really. They're not doing well. They're not having a good season, and yet they beat Southampton. Obviously, they drew with Brighton after that wild sort of throwing away the 3-goal lead. That as much as everybody could jump on that and criticise it, like that is a freak result. That's not going to happen every week to them. And apart from that, they've lost twice to Liverpool recently, Man City, Arsenal. They've had some very tough games, and yet they're obviously still in touch. They're 16th. They're joint on points with Bournemouth and 18th, but they're still in contention to stay up, survive. And if you win here, suddenly you're up to 30 points in 30 games. You're looking pretty good.
It's not the end of the world, is it? No, they could very much do it without any real player playing very well. I can't point to one player. Maybe Ngakia from the last couple of games, the right back who they're raving about. But I can't name you anyone who scores any goals.
I mean, Jared Bourne scored, didn't he? He missed a chance as well, but
is that one?
One. But he's given them something.
yeah, definitely. He's a brilliant player.
They've scored 3 in each of the last 2 games against Southampton and Brighton. They've scored 3 in each of them. I think Haller got on the score sheet again. So they've got something there, and I just wonder whether once they're playing against teams around them. Moyes has never had a great record against the big teams. With Everton, his record was shocking against likes Liverpool, etc. I don't know. I just wonder whether they've got something under the surface that once it gets around to playing the likes of Villa or Norwich or whoever it is they've got left, whether they can actually turn the screw.
I agree. I think they have a bit more about them than the rest. I think they haven't been doing it loads, but they have the ability to keep more clean sheets. Fabianski has made a few mistakes, but he's obviously a brilliant goalkeeper. Ogbonna and Diop have their moments where they are very, very good. And as a Wolves fan, I think I was more confident going into the Spurs game a couple of weeks ago than I am going away to West Ham. That's saying something, really.
Absolutely. Prediction for this one?
Wolves to win.
Obviously.
2-0. Jimenez, 2 headers.
You're like the Mark Lawrenson of this podcast. Well, Liverpool 5, everybody else doesn't matter.
Well.
Going with a draw here. Going with the 1-1 draw.
Cheers.
Yeah.
I'm sitting right here. I can hear you.
I mean, you're going to smash Olympiacos, so it's going to be fine. If you're listening to this on Friday and they didn't smash Olympiacos, oh well. Moving on to the 4:30 kickoff on Sunday. It's Tottenham versus Manchester United. Let's go with. I'm gonna keep my smugness back.
Oh yeah.
For now, we'll start with Tottenham, then we'll let the smugness out.
Yeah.
Tottenham, they're looking. It's very, very Jose right now. Very Jose. I feel like they've got all the supporting cast with sort of stitching together this imaginary defence and imaginary attack.
Yep.
The likes of Lo Celso is trying to stitch up 2 ends of the pitch that are just non-existent right now.
There's just nothing there up front. I watched the second half of the game last night after getting back from football myself, and it was embarrassing. The lack of urgency, the lack of fight. Even at 3-0 down on aggregate, you don't expect to get the result back. But Dele Alli said it afterwards. He apologised to the fans, said it was embarrassing, that display, and you can't disagree. They look a team completely with the wrong mentality.
They look shot to bits, don't they?
Absolutely.
I think confidence is mentioned, don't they? Like just looks so flat. And they came out. I was chatting in the office there and saying that Spurs, they actually came out the traps quite well. And again, it similar to Villa in that sense. Like once one goes in, just heads just go, heads roll. And that's not a good place to be at if you're Spurs. They're almost in give-up mode / shutdown mode. With 10 games left to go, they could finish mid-table. They could finish bottom half if they keep this run of form up.
Ridiculous. With the managers, asking for June to be here already. When you hear that from the top man, it's not a great place to be in. It's scary. Without Kane and Son, it's obviously a big miss. We spoke about that, but you're a Premier League side with hundreds of millions of pounds of talent. Yes, you haven't got like an out-and-out striker, but you've got ballers there that should be able to do stuff. Maybe changing the back 4 or 5 so often isn't helping either, but they've got to sort this out.
Mourinho's just gone into that weird zone where we saw at the end of United when he was sort of bagging out Luke Shaw. Now he's doing it with Ndombele and just looks defeatist in every game, and I just think
so quick to get.
I'd love if only there was an Amazon documentary showing us behind the scenes of what is going on behind the scenes.
I'm sure the Radio Times will have the full scoop on this.
Oh, we will do in time, my friend. But I'd just love to see what is actually going on behind this, like what the players think of Mourinho.
Yeah,
because I do like him, and I think he's still got so much to offer football. But the more and more you see him, the more and more he just looks like a finished man. I don't know.
He came in with that smiley persona, patting that boy on the head, the ball boy, and there's none of that now.
He finished 11th Spurs, but he patted the ball boy on the head, and that's all that matters.
That's the documentary.
Manchester United.
Go on then, have your moment, mate.
I mean, I called this, didn't I, really? I've called this for many weeks.
You did, Michael.
Flying along unbeaten in 10, 8 clean sheets, just 2 conceded in that time. I think it's time we give a little bit more credit to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
A little bit, yes.
I am completely neutral, by the way. I'm not like some sort of, don't want any internet forums abuzz with is Michael Potts a secret Manchester United fan. That is not the case.
Wearing the red of Manchester under the red of Sunderland.
Basically that. Painted white stripes on my Man United shirt, basically. But yeah, I don't know. I just think it looks so good at the moment, and Fernandes sort of has brought that whole extra edge to them. Yep. McTominay back, a bit of fire, a bit of competition in the middle as well. It's not just like they've got an 11 and that's it. He's going to be battling it out there. I'd be interested to see how quickly Paul Pogba's injury heals now.
Maybe there's a delay on that.
If there's a Europa League final potentially, wonder whether he's just miraculously back for that one.
Yes, maybe.
Also, like I said, Lindelof. I've never like hated Lindelof. I just think he needed somebody next to him, like a cool head.
Yes.
And now he's got the biggest head next to him in Maguire. And it's just looking it's just everything about it. I just like it right now. I like what I'm seeing right now.
It slotted into place. I think we should, be balanced and not be too excited for Man United.
I've totally gone into that level there.
It's gone here, mate. It's, because a lot of those stats, include Europa League results.
Which are still big games.
And they are still big games, but they have played some slightly lesser teams, maybe teams that wouldn't, compete in the Premier League at the same level as Man United.
Beating Manchester City twice,
I'm not saying they're not doing the jobs, all right? They're still doing great, but maybe I'm not quite as excited as you, sir. Maybe I'm the neutral one here.
I'm just very rarely right about things, so when I am, I've got to ride that train. Prediction for this one?
I can't see Tottenham getting a point anywhere at the minute. So I think United have got to have this.
Especially against the all-conquering Manchester United.
Michael Pops' Manchester United.
I'm going to leave that one there. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Manchester United win because I am such a massive fan. Moving on to Monday Night Football. I forgot about this. So I was looking through my notes, looking through my schedule. I was like, oh, cheeky Merseyside derby on a Monday night.
It's a shame it's not on Sunday. I'd like to have been on Sunday, but hey.
Quite nice on a Monday night after work, getting home, but watching all of Liverpool.
Surely the fans themselves going to the game, they'd have preferred it Sunday afternoon.
What, you actually think fans are going to be at this game?
Oh, true.
Lockdown. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff on Sky Sports Premier League and main event, Everton versus Liverpool at Goodison Park. Liverpool... funny after all this sort of talk of crisis mode, etc., that they've got looking at the table again, 25-point gap. They've got 3 digits above Man City when you're looking at the first column. They have double Spurs' points tally right now.
Oh, wow.
82 points to 41. I mean, they can end the season with 109 out of 114. Just all the numbers are mad still. Like, I think we just need to remind ourselves that Liverpool, for all they did go through that dip, they are still a ridiculous team.
It was 3 games, and they were in 3 different competitions. So I think, rightly so, level heads have been restored somewhat. They didn't, fly at the traps against Bournemouth. They didn't, completely wipe the floor with them, but a proper professional job done there, and they're going to just walk to the title. There's a lot of talk about, is it a disappointing season if they don't win, more than just a Premier League? But they're going to win that Premier League title, external circumstances forgiving, and they're going to be happy as Larry.
Can you imagine? Can you actually?
I don't want to
imagine the fume though. But if the season gets cancelled, if the season gets postponed in any way, shape, or form, that doesn't result in 38 games and Liverpool winning the thing. That, oh my goodness, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that.
I'm not ready.
That's the outbreak of absolute rage we're not ready for.
I think it would be terrible for everyone involved. And obviously we've got to do what's best and what's safest. But please let Liverpool win that title.
I know. And again, thoroughly deserved. Henderson coming back into it, which is good to see. He'll be playing against Atletico. I think Salah sort of wasn't totally convinced by him against Bournemouth. Ran into a few dead ends. And Firmino, again, that stat just keeps going. Hasn't scored at Anfield in the Premier League this season.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that bizarre? 29 games, 8 goals away from home, 0 at home.
Wow.
It's one of those where I don't know if there's anything really behind it. It's just kind of the way it's fallen. But
maybe,
it's an interesting one. Nice to see Mane and Salah sort of back on the score sheet.
Definitely, they're the boys, aren't they? And Liverpool haven't been rampant for quite a while now, and I think we've known that, but they're getting the jobs done, and that's, all that matters. That's the bottom line.
Nice to see the sort of red... I'm doing hand signals as a podcast. Nice to see him doing the crisscrossing sort of red arrows thing going on there between the front 3.
Yeah.
Dynamic.
That's how they get you. That's how they get you.
Moving on to Everton. Again, I think similar to Watford, they just kind of need this season to end. They're just sort of... I mean, that was a horrible defeat to Chelsea, really, wasn't it?
It was.
Just a bit of a hodgepodge of talent, great manager, and just need that pre-season, that break, that rest.
They'll be confident they can do big things next year. Ancelotti's really got them playing some good football. We spoke about their squad and the first 11. It is strong all the way through. This season doesn't look like they've got loads to play for now. Europe might be a touch too far, but Liverpool maybe wanting to pick up a bit of momentum. A very, on paper, nice game to have at Bournemouth. This one very much less so. They're not going to be excited to be going to Goodison.
Well, this is it, isn't it? Everton be fuming after that defeat at Chelsea. You wonder whether Ancelotti can actually, might make wholesale changes. You never know what he's going to do with this one, but it could be a very interesting one. Derby games, they always say form goes out the window, and I think there is something in that. I'm still going absolute prediction of absolute Liverpool mauling, but I don't know.
I think it'll be quite tight. Everton, good side, really like him. Calvert-Lewin, form of his life. I'm not going to rule him out not getting a goal. So,
absolutely. An update: Gylfi Sigurdsson has just stood up. So
has he?
he's nice. He's off the pitch. Finally,
still got his boots on.
I'm going to go with a 3-1. Let's go 3-1 Liverpool for that one.
I'll trim it. I'll trim it to 2-1.
I think they might find a way through. Moving on to Fantasy Premier League tips. I used my free hit.
That was not great, was it,
I
Michael?
used my free hit on Aguero, Mahrez, Walker, Saka, Pepe, and Aubameyang. That did not go well. So basically, kids, the big tip here: don't listen to me ever.
You can listen to me if you like. Willy Bolly with a nice 8 points this week off my bench.
His orange tunnel vision on over there. I've got a couple of shouts.
Yeah,
I think Danny Ings. They've got Norwich this weekend, but I'm not fancying Danny Ings right now. I quite like Chris Wood.
Oh, yes.
Chris Wood back from injury and he scored at the weekend. They have Man City this weekend, which you don't really know what that
Pick
means.
Chris Wood to score against Man City.
But then game week 31 is coming, okay?
The twist.
There are only 4 games in game week 31. Only 8 teams are playing. We've got Spurs, West Ham, Burnley, Watford, Liverpool, Palace, Wolves, Bournemouth. So if you've got Burnley, you've got Chris Wood, you might have Nick Pope in there. You're going to have your Liverpool guys, your Jimenez, your Jota, whoever it is. I think you're probably making transfers this week for that week if you've already used your free hit, like this moron. So yeah, keep an eye on game week 31 and select accordingly. What is in Match of the Day magazine this week, sir?
This one's a good one, Michael. It is
as opposed to the others, or
this one's a specifically good one this week, Michael. It's our big LOL issue, so kids are going to find out. It's full of mad bants, crazy doodles, mascot memes, cartoon fun, face swaps, player pranks, on top of all the lovely footy goodness. You love to see it.
Can we bleep out mad bants, please, every single time he says it?
Mad bants. That's the headline.
Thank you very much for listening this week. Hopefully we're back next week if the country hasn't gone into complete meltdown. In the meantime, you can come to radiotimes.com/sport for all of your latest sporting previews. Bit of golf this weekend, as well as the regular football, and I think we've got a bit of Cheltenham stuff coming up this week as well. You can find this podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast from. We're probably there. Thank you very much for listening. Cheers.